6ix9ine's girl, gone, murdered, cold blood, and the streets, they can't stop buzzing. But here's the twist. Fresh footage just dropped showing 6ix9ine right before it all went down, and trust me, it's changing everything.
Nigga, oh yeah, that homie, I don't give a who I'm talking about. All of them.
Talking about?
You ain't
talking
that
about?
homie.
Word on the street, people are whispering that 6ix9ine's own mouth might have triggered the ops and set this whole nightmare in motion. Let's break it all down. The footage that flipped the entire story. August 17th, 2025. Market. That morning brought a tragedy that shook the hip-hop community straight to its core. Before most of the city even had coffee, the sun barely touching the concrete jungle, Ariela La Lancosta, 29 years old, Dominican, influencer, bartender, was found slumped in her car on the Cross County Parkway in Mount Vernon, and instantly, questions exploded. But what had everybody's tongues wagging wasn't just her death, it was the connection. Ariela wasn't just anybody. Her name was tied to one of the most polarizing, controversial figures in rap, Tekashi 6ix9ine. And suddenly, people couldn't help but wonder, did his moves, his past, his enemies put a target on her back? To really get why this hit so hard, you gotta know who Ariela really was. She wasn't just another pretty face dropping selfies for clout. Number Shorty was a vibe. New York nightlife knew her well. She had a brand, a presence, a way of owning any room she stepped in. Over 551,000 Instagram followers, another 115,000 on TikTok. That charisma, unmatched. Her dance clips, her modeling shots, they had people hooked. But here's the kicker. Beyond the filters and flexing, Ariela was deep in the same nightlife ecosystem where rappers, hustlers, influencers, and street players all brush shoulders. And we all know that's a mix, clout, cash, egos, that can go toxic fast. Behind the bar at Icon New York and Starlets of New York, she was front and center in the glitter and the grime. These weren't your average spots. They were elite playgrounds where celebrities and street bosses crossed paths. One wrong step in those circles and you're caught in static that could turn deadly before you even see it coming. And the night before it all went left, that's where things sting the most. August 16th, 2025. Ariela's on Instagram posting up from Icon New York, smiling, dancing, turning up like life's a movie. No clue that those clips, those laughs, were gonna be some of the last moments of her life. By sunrise, she'd be gone, and that's when things got spicy. Everyone, fans, haters, investigators, was scrambling, piecing together what the hell went down. And at the center of it all, Tekashi. See, you can't talk about 6ix9ine without bringing up the one thing that defines him in the streets: snitching. His track record with the feds? Legendary, and not in a good way. And when Ariela was killed, people started whispering that maybe her connection to him painted a target she couldn't dodge.
Bro,
Not surprised.
told on his girl, bro.
Not surprised.
6ix9ine just about to tell on anybody, huh?
Man, come on.
This no jumper clip, it says it all. 6ix9ine's reflex, always run to 12, no hesitation, even when it's about his so-called people. And the look on the host's face, pure disgust. Because in this culture, snitching isn't just a choice, it's a stain.
What's your definition of a snitch? Let's start there.
A snitch is somebody, I feel like a snitch would do anything to get out of a situation. You know what I'm trying to say? Like a snitch will get faced with something and would just give up their mother, their brother, everybody, their whole camp just to be free.
And Tekashi himself has admitted it over and over. This ain't just about girlfriends or beef with rivals. This is how he operates. It's a pattern. So now the streets are left asking, was Ariela collateral in a game Tekashi's been playing all along? Their relationship? That's the million-dollar question. Depending who you ask, Ariela was his girl. Others swear she was like his sister. And maybe that confusion wasn't an accident. In Tekashi's world, even acknowledging someone publicly can be dangerous. What we know? She wasn't just some acquaintance. She was in his circle. She even appeared in his music video, Why, alongside Angel Dior, Lanier, and Bulan 47. And that wasn't a background cameo. She had presence, charisma. She stood out. Back in 2023, they even pulled up together at the Tobago Room in New York. Comfortable enough to be seen side by side, but private enough to dodge the usual spotlight Tekashi drags everywhere. But here's where the timing cuts deep. By 2025, Tekashi wasn't the wild troll king anymore, running around clowning the industry. He was shackled by the law, locked down by probation, ankle monitors, travel bans, and federal eyes watching his every move. After a 45-day stint behind bars in late 2024, his every step was monitored. And just weeks before Ariela's murder, he'd pleaded guilty to drug charges after a raid on his Florida crib. MDMA, coke, feds had it all bagged. He was waiting for sentencing in September 2025. In other words, he couldn't move freely, couldn't even be in New York without risking everything. So if Ariela's death is tied to him, then how? That's the chilling part, because 6ix9ine's past, his enemies, his history of flipping on the streets, it all comes crawling back when we talk about Ariela.
I fold on though.
When you took the stand, or when you testified.
What I fold on?
When you snitched.
All right, so let me ask you something, son. If you was in that position, what you would have done?
For me, you gotta understand.
Nah, I don't
Listen,
answer the question.
I would never tell.
All right, so this is what I'm saying. If you was in that position, you would have did that, Tom?
Look at him here, defensive, justifying why he flipped, daring people to say what they'd have done in his shoes. But this is where it matters, because if being close to him makes you look like a snitch too, that puts you in the line of fire. And Tekashi's list of enemies? Endless. Dude even had a fake casket delivered to his Florida crib in February 2025. On it, the name of his rival, King Von. Message received, "You're untouchable, but your people aren't." Now tie that to Ariela, and suddenly her murder looks less random and more like a move in a deadly chess game. But that's only the beginning, because when the whispers hit the block, 3 major theories started to form, each one darker than the last. So let's get into it. The theories? The streets always have their version before the cops do, and in Ariela's case, the gossip came with layers.
Let me ask you something, and like I said, my respect to the West Coast. You never lacking, right?
Never.
So what happened to the niggas that lack? Let's bring up Nipsey Hussle. You think he said, yo, will never come up to me because I'm... Yo, bro, it happened to the best of them.
Yes.
Hold on.
You're absolutely right.
Hold on. So what you gonna say, Nipsey?
Theory 1, she wasn't the real target at all. People say the bullets were meant for her alleged boyfriend, Nata Cartier. Word is, Cartier's no small-time player, suspected gang leader, heavy in the streets with a history of pulling off jolopias. That's robberies for the uninitiated. Reports paint a grim picture. Ariela was riding in her Mercedes G-Wagon, Cartier by her side when the shots rang out. She caught the hit. He walked away. That's not luck. That's precision. Even worse, rumors say she was selling out Colombians, giving Cartier the inside scoop so he could rob them. If that's true, retaliation wasn't just likely, it was inevitable. Police even detained someone after the shooting, and whispers point to Cartier himself. His background? Arrests, sketchy entry into the US. His whole profile screams heat magnet. So if Ariela was tied to him and Tekashi at the same time, oh, that's a cocktail for disaster. 2 dangerous circles colliding, and she was standing in the middle. Now, Theory 2 takes us straight back to Tekashi. His enemies never disappeared. They've been waiting, lurking, biding their time. Ever since he flipped on the 9 Tray Gangsta Bloods in 2019, he's been labeled a rat. That snitch label? Permanent. No getting out from under it.
Hey, but what's the point though?
All right then, so King Von is a solid, and he got killed, right? Then poked out and put 5 in him, right? And he dead, right? So King Von died lacking.
You hurt my feelings.
No. Hear what I'm saying?
May he rest in peace,
King
man.
Von died lacking. Nipsey died lacking. Pop Smoke died lacking.
Right.
Can't lack?
No, you can't.
All right.
Kill or be killed. And
Listen to this. Tekashi doesn't even hide it. He says outright that so-called real ones still end up dead. He mocks the very street code that got people killed. And that's exactly why the whispers started. Maybe the shots weren't meant for Ariela at all. Maybe she caught heat intended for him. And his IG tribute after her death didn't help. He called her his sister, while everyone was already speculating about them being more than that. Some saw grief, others saw guilt. Like maybe he knew deep down that being close to him painted a bullseye on her back. But the kicker? Tekashi wasn't even supposed to be in New York. His ankle monitor had him locked down in Florida, so if he couldn't be touched, maybe his enemies decided to hit someone close to him instead. A message. We can't get you, but we can get her. And then comes the third theory, the one that sent chills through the streets, that Ariela herself was a snitch.
I respect gangsters, bro. But you gonna see me, you gonna respect me.
hold, let me break something down to you, right?
I don't even mean to change the mood, but 6ix9ine, we all know about the perception.
People started whispering that maybe she was feeding info to the cops, just like Tekashi. And if there's one thing the streets don't forgive, it's that. Even without proof, that kind of rumor can get you killed. And with Tekashi openly defending cooperation with law enforcement as a survival tactic, some believe he influenced her to do the same. But here's the thing, none of this is confirmed, which makes the silence from the cops deafening. No detailed statements, no ballistics breakdown, nothing. Just enough space for every theory, every conspiracy to grow legs. The police, though, did drop one breadcrumb. They're treating Ariela's death as linked to criminal activity. Not random, not mistaken identity, targeted.
Bro,
I'm gonna be honest.
Alpo, we gonna get on Alpo. Yo, shout out my girl, baby. I love you. Listen, I gotta talk about it. I gotta bring it up. I'm sorry if I put, but I'm about to fire Harlem up. My girl's baby father, Charlie C, is a Mac Bull of blood.
Okay, what that mean?
He's a Mac Bull of blood that Jack kill all rats. The Mac Bull Jack kill all rats.
And get this. Ariela was found around 8 a.m., slumped in her car, gunshot wound to the head, right there on the Cross County Parkway. That stretch is busy, heavily trafficked, cameras everywhere. And still, nobody saw a thing? That suggests planning. A quick, sharp move from people who knew exactly when and where surveillance would be weakest. And if Tekashi wasn't physically in New York, like his probation records show, then what? Either the shooters thought he'd be there, or they knew he wouldn't, and Ariela was always the real target. That's where it gets scarier, because the streets know. When someone's too protected, you go after their people instead. That fake casket sent to Tekashi earlier in the year? Same message. Ariela's murder? Just another version of that deadly warning.
Oh, Harlem don't hide and be like, I wasn't at that baby shower. If I would've seen, I was at that baby shower drinking rosé.
I ain't gonna even lie.
Oh,
Also,
listen.
let me get spicy real quick. See, my whole thing is like this, man. On some real, you know, I ain't trying to be funny or nothing, Jim Jones, but you keep shouting Mel and Shotty in the mouth.
Look at how he talks, challenging the entire hip-hop community, calling out hypocrisy, daring enemies to come for him. That attitude makes enemies faster than anything, and if they can't get him, they'll get someone he cares about.
I mean, because now it's just putting you back in the spotlight and it's telling again. You know what I mean? Like it just won't stop. What's next?
Now, I don't with 6ix9ine whatsoever, but
Why not?
domestic violence, you know why. Domestic violence is domestic violence.
Even No Jumper said it. His constant cooperation with feds puts him back in the spotlight every single time. People expect him to tell, and anyone tied to him, they carry that stain by association.
Yo, wait, let me ask y'all a question. Let me ask the OGs a question. Was Mel Murder running around with Treyway? Well, I mean, was Mel Murder running around with Jim Jones in 2009? Was Mel Murder running around Jim Jones when he was doing bowling?
Yeah.
He was.
And here's the contradiction that makes Tekashi the most dangerous ally you could have. He'll call out your credibility while his own safety is hanging by a thread. He's a magnet for chaos. And Ariela, she might have been too close when the storm hit. Now here's where timing plays a big role. His emotional tributes to Ariela dropped while he was already waiting for sentencing on those July 2025 drug charges. One wrong word, one slip up online, and he could have been slapped with more legal heat, but he didn't care. Was it grief breaking through his usual caution, or was he trying to distance himself to make it crystal clear, I had nothing to do with this? Either way, the morning was real. Both Icon New York and Starlets, the places Ariela called home, flooded Instagram with tributes, calling her a shining star full of joy and humility. The Dominican community poured out their grief too, filling her socials with condolences, heartbreak, and disbelief. And here's the harsh truth, where we stand now. Ariela Lalang Costa, 29 years old, shot dead in her car on August 17th, 2025. No suspects, no arrests, just shadows, whispers, and unanswered questions. Was she caught in a gang war because of Nata Cartier? Was she a casualty of Tekashi's endless beefs? Or was she marked for being seen as a snitch herself? Nobody knows, not yet. What we do know is that the case is far from closed. And until the truth comes out, the streets will keep buzzing, the theories will keep multiplying, and Tekashi 6ix9ine's name, it'll stay right in the middle of the storm. So what do you think really happened? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story, it's far from over. It's far from over.